I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now on this Monday, August the 3rd. If you're a New York Mets fan who's been disgruntled, been upset, been screaming and yelling for this team to turn it around for years, no winning record since 2008, one of the longest droughts in all of baseball, well, your time is now, and your time at Citi Field is right now. The New York Mets, for the first time in the history of Citi Field, which has been open since 2009, swept the Washington Nationals this past weekend and did it in decisive fashion to give themselves a share of first place in the National League East. A pennant race is upon us in Queens, and the Mets play in their own building for the first time in a very long time is a major reason why. It felt like from the moment the Mets moved across the street from Shea Stadium to Citi Field, that old home field advantage that the faithful in Queens gave the Mets, you felt like it was gone. You felt like it wasn't there anymore. From 2011 to 2014, the Mets weren't just a bad baseball team. They were really bad at home, which is rare. The Mets weren't awful. They weren't a 100-loss team every year. They were below 500. But usually teams that are like that play decent at home and then get beat up on the road. The Mets were the opposite. For 4 straight years, if you were a Mets fan, if you were a Mets diehard who would still go to these baseball games and still try to watch this rebuilding effort come together, you watched loss after loss after loss. From 2011 to 2014, the Mets went 143 and 181 at home. That is a .441 winning percentage. That is awful for a team at home, even if they're not a very good baseball team. This year, it has been the complete opposite, a total 180 for the New York Mets. Now at 55 and 50 overall, the Mets tied for first place after the big weekend over Washington, and they now have a record of 38 and 18 at home, 20 games over 500. Only the St. Louis Cardinals have more home wins of any team in baseball. Home field advantage has come back to Citi Field. The Mets play well at Citi Field, and down the stretch of this season, maybe into October, it is going to be a place opponents do not want to come. And last night, during the 3rd inning, Sunday Night Baseball, you have Thor on the mound for the Mets, Noah Syndergaard doing what he does, fire bullets, strike out batters, look like a future ace. But it was the Mets offense in the bottom of the 3rd, and it was the reaction from the crowd that probably was the greatest moment in the history of Citi Field, the very short history of Citi Field, but the loudest I have heard that crowd when the back-to-back base hit and then home runs. 3 out of 5 hitters, 3 out of 5 pitches out of the ballpark for home runs for the New York Mets. It went Curtis Granderson, it went Daniel Murphy, and then it went Lucas Duda, and when Duda's shot went out, the place went berserk. A sound you haven't heard in Citi Field ever, a sound you haven't heard in Queens for baseball probably since the 2006-2007 seasons. The Mets are a legitimate contender right now, and one of the major reasons, their home field advantage. And one of the major reasons for that, the crowd at Citi Field has given the Mets a boost whenever they're at home. I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now.